Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Brynhildr in the Darkness, aka Kiwaguro no Brynhildr, aka Goku Koku no Brynhildr, Episode 1. Yeah, um, this is probably the only other anime I'm going to be reviewing this season, along with the regular Magic High School and JoJo. And this, in my opinion, this is going to be the third best anime this season. It's got 13 episodes. It's a story written by the same woman who did Elfen Lied. So if you like that, well, this isn't exactly the same kind of series, obviously, but I think she has another manga, like something called No 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 or something like that, like bo, except no 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 no. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like no 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 or something like that. Look, like you can look it up on like Manga Reader or something. No no no. Yeah, you just type in no no no, and it'll probably come up. But yeah, it's the same author as Elfen Lied, and it's a really good series. I follow the manga. It's definitely worth it's definitely worth watching. The opening was interesting. I guess you kind of expect that when it comes to anime that this author is responsible for. Unique openings, but it was wordless. It was different. There were some characters I didn't know in it, even though I'm caught up with the manga. It's a weekly manga that's published in, I believe, Weekly Young Jump. So it is a Jump series. It's just seinen. Um, and even though it's weekly, the chapters haven't been coming out remotely close to weekly. So I don't know if that's because the author's been taking a lot of breaks or being like on hiatus or something, or if it's just because the scanlators aren't putting the chapters out. If it's the latter, then that would explain why I don't know the characters. They might have been introduced already. It's just that those chapters haven't been scanlated yet. Um, if it is the author though being taking breaks, then that means that this is going to have an anime original ending, which I'm never really a fan of because they're usually stupid. So I don't think I've experienced a good anime original ending. Yeah, I don't think I have. So anime original ending is not exactly something I'm happy about. So I'm hoping for the latter. I'm hoping for the latter, that it's actually that the English scanlations are behind and these characters have actually been introduced already. Like that girl that Neko was fighting. Um, Looked like an evil version of Neko. Which was interesting since she was all white. It's like in Bleach, usually the evil ones are the black ones. But but it's like the evil ones are the white ones for once. So yeah, not to sound racist or anything, but yeah, finally we're not the bad guys. Um, anyway, anyway, yeah. So episode 1, Brynhildr in the Darkness. It starts off pretty much giving us Murakami's backstory and his flashback. Pretty much what happened is that he was childhood friends with this girl Kuroneko, and she believed that aliens exist. And when Murakami asked her about it, she said that she had actually met an alien before, and that Murakami wanted to meet this alien. Um, what I've always wondered is like, like, is this alien ever gonna be like in the series? Like is Murakami ever gonna think about like going back to that area and trying to find the alien? Like I've always wondered that. Like I'd always just thought like, hey, maybe he'll do it. Maybe who knows? But he ends up going over there with Neko, crossing with Kuroneko and crossing over this dam, and they fall. Well, Murakami falls. Kuroneko reaches out to try and grab him, and he does grab her hand, but it ends up just like she can't hold on to like the wall and him, so they both end up falling, and Kuroneko actually dies instantly, and Murakami is miraculously saved. Um, and yeah, he pretty much blames himself for her dying, which is understandable. seeing as though he literally pulled her down to her death. I mean, in reality, I mean, it was reflex. You can't really blame him for it, but it's understandable why he would blame himself. So yeah. So now, current day, he's in 11th grade, and he's a member of the only member of the astronomy club. He wants to join NASA one day and prove the existence of aliens in Koroneko's stead. Um, which, in all seriousness, he probably will be able to join NASA since he's really smart. Though, I mean, that's not all you need, but um, oh, then again, I don't know much about NASA and what it takes. So all I know is what I saw in Space Brothers, and that was specifically for being an astronaut, not like other NASA jobs, but whatever. He's the smartest one in his class, in his school, for his year. Among 11th graders, he's the smartest one in his school, and among Japan, he's third smartest, so he's pretty smart. Um, and that school day ends up starting off with with Neko. I keep getting those two mixed up. It's because it's practically the same name. Um, Kuroneko and Kuraha Neko. It's pretty much the same thing. Neko ends up transferring in to the class, and Murakami does that cliche. I know you, so therefore I must stand up in the middle of class and draw attention to myself type of thing that you always see in anime. Transfer student comes in, the other person knows, and they have to stand up and like draw attention to themselves. Though he goes a little bit farther than most do. They usually like sit down afterwards and try to pretend like they were just being weird. They don't actually like go and confront them like Murakami did. He actually went up to the front of the room and started trying to convince her that they were childhood friends. And he ends up asking to see her armpits because one thing that he knows about Kuroneko is that she has 3 moles underneath her arm. So he asks to see her armpits so that he can prove that they are childhood friends by pointing out that she has the moles. However, he doesn't go into all that detail. All he does is ask, show me your, well, he doesn't even ask, he tells her, show me your armpits. And that clearly doesn't go over well at all. Yeah, it just doesn't go over well. So the next important scene we see after that is it's at the pool. Kashiwagi, this girl that was actually talking with Murakami earlier in the episode, when his intelligence was being discussed. Her knee gets stuck inside the filter of the pool. Okay, and she's stuck underwater because of this, so she can't breathe. She's going to die. And Neko uses magic to crush the ground, push it in on top of the pipe so that the pressure is canceled out, and Kashiwagi is able to come out of the filter and be saved. Right? And that's actually the reason she transferred into the school, to save her and to save Murakami, which we learn later on in the episode. And we learn that the reason she was able to know that she was needed there is because she can tell not her, it's the other girl that can tell the future. The girl that we meet, or we don't meet her, but we see her later on in the episode. She's lying on a bed, just not moving. She called Neko on this like old radio. So she's the one that can tell the future, but Neko's the one who can actually do something about it. So, yeah. Later on at the observatory that Murakami goes to for the astronomy club, Neko goes there to try and save him and convince him. But before they do that, they talk a little bit. Murakami pretty much tries to explain himself and why he acted the way he did before. And after he talks about that, that's when Neko starts to talk about why she's there. And she tells him, if you miss that bus, you're going to die. That simple. All right, so make sure you get on the bus. And as we learn from Murakami later on in the episode, that ends up changing the vision, because if he misses the bus, the landslide is going to hit him. If he gets on the bus, you would think, oh, so now he's safe, because he won't be walking home when the avalanche comes. But then the time that it takes for him to get on the bus will slow the bus up enough where it will actually get hit by the avalanche, and Murakami will still die. However, not just him, but all the other passengers on the bus, including the driver. So, uh, in the end, once the forecast changes again, he ends up being told that he should just stay there and like stay the night. Um, and yeah, there are some shenanigans here though in this scene. It was actually kind of funny. Neko was on her way out, but she ended up seeing these constellations, like this list of constellations, and she was trying to count how many there were. And Murakami's like, dude, 6, 8. There's 48 there. Like, come on, it's not that hard. She's like, huh, how'd you count them that fast? And he's like, it's simple multiplication. It's simple multiplication. Like what? And apparently she doesn't know multiplication at all. He was trying to kind of figure to like do some easy stuff. He's like, what's 2 times 2? Twice. It was funny. Like, what was the other one? 8 by 4. She said 4 by 2 or like 2 by 4 or something. It was hilarious. What was the last one? 8 by 2, and she said shut the gate. Like, she just doesn't know. She just doesn't know things. It was hilarious. Like, so he started teasing her about it. And she says, I might not be as smart as you, but at the very least, I'm stronger than you. He's like, really, really? All right, prove it. Let's arm wrestle. So they did, and she beat him instantly. He's like, what? How did you beat me so quickly? So he checks her arm. It turns out she has like no muscle. To the point where where he called her squishy girl. he called her squishy girl. Oh, that was funny. That was funny. So obviously she wasn't exactly happy about that. But yeah, after those shenanigans, that's when she gets the call from the girl about the forecast changing, the foresight changing, tells him not to leave. And I thought this was interesting. After she told him not to leave, she leaves. So I was like thinking, like, what? Well, obviously it's safe for you. So like, what? Why not just let him leave with you, and then like go the way you're going? That way he doesn't die. People on the bus don't die. And then after the avalanche happens, then he can just go back to his house. Like, like, I didn't unless she used magic to get to where she was. Because there was this time we saw her leaving and she had this flashback. There was this dying girl, Connie. She'd gotten crushed by something. And she gave this package to Neko and told her that she could save the world from ruin. And Neko decided that in order to save the world from ruin, she would save the people who she knows are going to die through the one girl's foresights. But I was just thinking, like, well, if you can leave, why can't he leave? He can just go the same way you're going, and then after the avalanche happens, then he can go back to his house. Like I thought that was weird, but whatever. Plot. It happened because of plot. That's why. All right. But yeah. Actually, one thing I'm impressed with is that Murakami, he really is smart because he was actually able to figure all that stuff out, like what would happen. He was able to figure out like the difference between like at first he had to catch the bus, but then once he caught the bus, then he was told like no, you can't do that either. You have to stay here. So obviously something happens where him getting on the bus slows it down, and something ends up happening to the bus. So he thinks it has something to do with like the environment or something, and he legitimately predicts that it's going to rain, and it does end up raining. But something that I didn't get is even though he was able to predict that the rain would have an effect on the bus, he wasn't able to figure out what it was that ended up killing him slash the people on the bus. Like it would have to be something that him getting on the bus would affect, like that difference in time. It would have to be something that would affect. So I'm surprised that he was able to figure all that out, but he couldn't figure out there was a landslide that ended up hitting the bus, and well, that would have ended up hitting the bus and pushing it over. But I don't know. Yeah, he decides that he's crazy. He even though he knows that something's gonna happen, that he's probably gonna die, he decides to go anyway just to test out if Neko was actually right. Alright? And he goes and the landslide happens and Neko has to come back and save him because the girl called her, excuse me, called her again on the radio and told her that the foresight changed again. So she has to go to him and she saves him using magic. And she just boulders falling on top of him. She just boom cuts it in half. And yeah, and he gets saved. Um, yeah, and Murakami, he actually explains how it is that he deduced that. That it was the difference in time that would have affected the people on the bus and stuff like that. And yeah, Neko explains that the reason she was able to cut the boulder in half is because she's a witch. Alright, so she can use magic. And Murakami doesn't want to believe that because it just goes against science. And he's a freaking, like, in the astronomy club, you know, science. Well, yeah, science. So, well, is it science? I don't even know. You know, who cares? Who cares? The point is that he's a science guy. Alright? And since magic goes against science, he doesn't want to believe it. But then he, like, remembers, like, oh, she kind of cut a boulder in half. Not only did she cut a boulder in half, but she beat me with that with that squishy arm. So she has to be a witch. So that was funny. I can't get over that he called her squishy. Usually there'd be other parts about. Never mind. Not, let me not even go there. The point is that she describes that the way she got her magic is through surgery and drugs. So she's been experimented on. And she shows him the device that's embedded in the back of her neck. And she says some stuff here, but it's not really too important, especially since Murakami ignored it all because he was too focused on the fact that she didn't actually have those moles under her arm. And he was saying that like he was still holding out hope that maybe, just maybe, she was actually Kuroneko. But that hope is pretty much gone now. And let's be honest, we were thinking the same exact thing. Alright, we were thinking the same thing. First of all, Kuroneko, Kurohaneko. I mean, come on, it's come on. Plus, she's practically a clone of her, so obviously, so I mean, we were all thinking that she was the same person, and the other deciding factor is that it's an anime, so of course she's the same freaking person. Alright, but she doesn't have the moles, so that's like, well, is she really the same person now? And like maybe she's a clone. Maybe her head got cut off and put on another body. I don't know. Maybe with all that surgery that she was forced to go under, maybe maybe the moles got taken off. Well, no, that's stupid. Because why? You're doing surgery on her to give her magic and all this stuff. Why would you care about moles? Like, and plus there was no scar there, so. Plus she should be dead. Like, what? Well, actually, like, I don't know. Maybe there was some magic done on her to revive her, and it ended up the cost of that magic was removing her moles. Like, well, I do know what happens because I read the manga, but I'm trying to come up with like stupid theories that are obviously not true in order to divert people away. But I mean, it's actually I won't spoil anything, but the truth is actually, like, when you think about it, it's actually common sense. Like, it's actually common sense, but it's the type of common sense that you don't really think about often. So, like, certain groups of people, there's, like, one group of people in particular who would probably get this, like, instantly, understand what's going on. Alright, I won't tell you what that group is, because that would probably spoil. But, like, you'd probably be able to figure out from that. But most other groups of people wouldn't be able to figure this out, probably, because it's just not something you think about. I mean, using hindsight, it's like, it's common sense, but it's just not something you think about. So, yeah. Is Neko Kuroneko? Who knows? Well, I do, but if you read the manga, you know. But if you only watch anime, you don't. Oh, it's 20 minutes already. Jesus Christ. Let me end this review. I'll give this episode an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a good episode. Good start to the series. So, yeah, that's that, you guys. I'll be reviewing this regularly along with Stardust Crusaders and the regular Magic High School, all of which are going to be awesome. First, second, and third best anime of the season right there. I'm calling it. I'm calling it. I started watching Blade and Soul. I thought it would just be a fan because the anime club at my school decided to watch the first episode, and I thought it would just be a fan service show, but it was surprisingly good. Like, I'm actually gonna watch it this season. I won't review it because I just don't feel like it, but I'm gonna watch it. Like, it was better than I thought, so that'll probably be pretty good too, but not as good as Brynhildr, the irregular Magic High School, or Stardust Crusaders. So yeah, that's it, you guys. This episode gets an 8 out of 10. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.